Well, I bet you guys didn't expect to see me here. I bet you didn't expect to see me here today on a Friday. It's Friday, ain't it? Yeah. Friday at 6 o'clock. Well, no, it's actually 6:15. No, you didn't expect to see me here. But I wanted to come on here because I wanted to respond to a video that I saw earlier. And I'm just gonna give y'all a little bit of time to come on because I know this was like last minute, but it was a video that I had just seen. I literally just seen. And I was trying to think of when it was going to be a good time, when it would be a good time for me to respond to this video because we need to respond to this video. So I said, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, maybe. Now I'm like, no, not next week because, next week it's time for me to go back. So this was like the only day. We have to do our regular show tomorrow. And Sunday, I got things I want to do. There's a lot of stuff I want to do before I go back. So I just got to get things done. So this was really the only time I had to do this live stream. So, uh, what? Do you want me to talk about Mexico and all the things that go on in Mexico to repass who have American nationals who have moved to Mexico, who visited Mexico? Did you research anything about Mexico? I wouldn't advise Mexico is so bad and so off my radar. I wouldn't even go there to visit. That's how bad Mexico is. So, I mean, y'all can live in y'all little worlds and think, oh, because it doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen. That's not true. I've been to Africa. I don't even know how many times, y'all. Tell me, 14, 13, 14. Nothing has ever happened to me. One time I came close, and that's when I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to. I was doing my own thing instead of following the rules. And that was just one time out of all the times. And it wasn't even anything serious. It was just somebody asking me for some money who I didn't want to ask me for money. So that's the only thing that has happened to me compared to all these other things that have happened to people. So I can easily come on here and take the position, oh, you people are just reckless. You people are just stupid. You people are just this, that. I don't even have to talk about this. I can just take that position and make all my shows about what a great time I have every time I go to Africa and how I come home safely and how I have everything that I want and I need within reason and how I'm just taking care. I don't do that because you know why? Because I know everybody else ain't got that life. Everybody else haven't been lucky. Everybody else isn't blessed like that. So I don't even pretend like they are. Because I know the stories that I read about what goes on in other countries to Americans. So when you come on here and you say stuff like that, I think that's reckless. I think it's very reckless. And do you know about the relationship between America and Mexico? And Mexico? Do you know we used to own that? Southern half of the United States, correction, southern half of the United States was owned by Mexico. They asked us to come. We needed more space. We were growing. So we needed more land. And we asked them, can we come? Y'all land look nice down here. Can we come live down here? And they said, yeah, you can come live down here. Sure, we don't mind. We share our land. And guess what we did? We said, oh, we like it so well here. We're going to take it. We're going to keep it. And we went to war with them people and kept their land. And you think they forgot about that? Y'all think they forgot about that? Y'all really think they forgot about that? While y'all running to Mexico? See, just like you said, karma, whatever, everything is in a circle. It's in a circle. Life is a circle, like The Lion King. That movie was so on point about life. It's a circle. Everything that goes around comes around, goes around, comes around. What you do to somebody is destined to be done to you because that's the energy that you put out. That's the energy you put out. So you gonna get it back. So I don't understand how y'all think we can go to places where the United States just went in like gangbusters, kicked the door open and took that because we we was cowboys for real. Why you think they call us cowboys? Because we got that reputation. Like I forgot who said something about Donald Trump. I think it was somebody in my comment section. Why you think people like him? That's the whole American personality. We say what we gonna do, and we do what we say, and we gotta knock your door down to take it. We gonna do that. So it's all karma. You're right. So be careful in Mexico. Be careful. Just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Just because that stuff doesn't happen to me doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Just because I don't get beat by my husband in Africa does not mean Black American women are not getting beat by their husbands in Africa. And I do mean Africa. I'm talking about all three of the countries I went to: Nigeria, Cameroon, Gambia. That would be reckless for me to assume that and to put that out as if it was truth. Because the truth is these stories that we get. The truth is these emails that we get. The truth is these comments that we get. Well, some people be on here lying, but y'all can tell when they lying. That's the truth. The people are the truth. So if you want to know the truth, look in the comment section. Look through my channel. Look through the stories that I've told about different people and what happened to them when they went to Africa. And it's not just because it's Africa. You think it's just because it's Africa? Wherever there's bad karma, you're going to get bad karma. You're going to get what you give. That's all. You're going to get what you give. I don't care what country you are. I don't care who you are. That's why I spend my time giving good gifts. Those are the gifts I give. Because I know that come back on you. I know that come back on you. So that just kind of shocked me that you on here hollering out that, Judith. And did you even research that? What really go on over there? Can you do a video about this new movement of American Blacks really being American? Honey, I don't even understand it. Girl, I done got into my son with all kind of arguments about it. But I'm telling you now, some of the points are valid. But I guess I could. From my POV. I finally figured out what that meant. Y'all just don't know how long I've been trying to figure out what the heck is POV. What the heck does? And then I was like, oh, point of view. So yeah, I can do that. I can do one on what I understand from it. Okay, because my son is really into that. He doesn't believe we came from Africa. He believes the slave trade the transatlantic slave trade was just all a big, like it was a lie, that we were all born, we all came pre-Columbian time, And even after Columbian time, that there was no transatlantic slave trade. We was just here. So me and him go round and around about, but there's documents. And these documents aren't racist documents. These documents are financial documents. And that's where the argument gets strong, that this transatlantic slave trade existed, and the amount of people who were brought here and where they came from. Okay, because there was insurance on their property. This was property, so there was insurance on the property, so they kept track of where they came from. And we would talk about that. And so maybe I'll talk about from their perspective. But, like I said, they have some valid points about there were statues the Senegalese were coming here before pre-Columbian time. West Africans were coming here, and they believe it was present day Senegal, because if you get inside, there's like a waterway there. And the canoes, if they get inside them the right way, that canoe would take that water would just take them all the way down to North America. Okay, they wouldn't have to do much. It wouldn't take much energy of them paddling the boats or anything. The energy from the water would just do it. So that's how they started coming here before Columbus. And how we know that is because Christopher Columbus documented it in his journal that the West Africans have been here. And he said how he knew was because the canoes he saw in this new world, he didn't know where he was. I forgot I think he thought he was in Haiti or someplace. I can't remember where he thought he was, but he didn't think he was here. But he said he could tell by the canoes and also the crops, the statues. He said they look like West Africans. So he has it documented in his journals. So, it is documented proof that West Africans were coming here before the transatlantic slave trade. So that's where that's the argument where it starts at. But I do believe that some West Africans were here, but they didn't come in huge numbers until, the transatlantic slave trade. So we can talk about that, and we can talk about the documents that support, each other's arguments, because, honey, I quit talking to him about that. I was like, oh, honey, you making me dizzy. Oh, you've been there for 64 years. Pros and cons. Well, say that, Judith. Miss Judith, honey, then I got all kind of respect for you. Then say that part. Say it just like that. Say that part. Now, that part, you right. It's got pros and it's got cons. But you're right. Now, I like that part. And you've been there 64 years, so your view is valid. Oh, you're over 64. Is that what you're saying? Or you lived in there for 64? You lived, she said, over 64 years in Mexico. Pros and cons. Yeah, every place has its pros and its cons. But we got to be honest about the cons, just like we are about the pros. All right, so this is fair use. Tonight we're going to talk about something that I was sitting up watching on TV tonight. And let me tell y'all this. Well, first, let me do fair use. And this is fair use. Everything we do on this channel, I use primary sources, which are normally YouTube. More than likely, they are a YouTube video or they are a news program. Okay, I use those sources because those are primary sources. Okay, that means one person said it. It's not a he say, it's not a she say, it's not a they say. It's a he say, and I can go right back to where he said it. Oh, okay. I can go right back to where he said it. So that's why I use primary sources. Okay, so we're going to use primary sources, and those are other people's videos, which are copyrighted material. Anything you produce is copyrighted, right? So I have to say, I'm going to use your copyrighted material. I'm not going to infringe. I'm not trying to infringe upon your right as a creator, but I want to take your creation to another level, and I want to recreate it, and I want to use it as data. I'm using it as data, as a source for information to educate the public, to bring public awareness. So that's why I use other people's material. All right. It's not to infringe, but it's to educate, it's to bring public awareness, it's to do commentary, and it's to do research. All right. And the Supreme Court ruled in 1976 in Section 550, I believe, of the Copyright Act of 1976 that I could do that. All right. And that's what we're doing tonight. Also, tonight, I wanted to go ahead and bring this up. We are going to go ahead. A lot of you are new and some of you are old, but we're going to go ahead and have to start we're going to have our first meeting about our repatriation community, repat community. All right. So I know we call ourselves a little community on here. Okay. But for us to I've really been trying to get things done behind the scenes with this autopsy and this autopsy legislation, this autopsy act. Okay. For starters, I'm gonna call it Danita's Act for now, but the name may change later on. And the only reason I'm calling it Danita's Act is because Danita was the very first woman that I talked about who was unalive. I'm not gonna say unalive, who passed away unsuspectedly and suspiciously in West Africa. She passed away in Nigeria. For those of you who say, oh, why don't you talk about Nigeria? Why don't you look through my channel and you'll see, and quit running your mouths. We don't play on this channel. So let me get back to the point. So Danita's Act, that's going to what we've been trying to do for years now is to get a law passed where the embassy will automatically, if one of us pass away in another country, any American citizen, whether it's a black, white, whatever, man, woman, child, whoever, if you pass away in another country, you still are entitled to the rights as an American citizen when you pass away. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is this. I'm an American citizen. In America, you have certain rights when you pass away. If you pass away at a certain age, if you pass away from certain conditions, if you pass away and things just don't feel right, there's a protocol that orders an autopsy, a written protocol in place for all Americans. For all Americans, all right? So our argument is this right does not stop when we go to other countries. We still have the right as Americans. Wait a minute, y'all. We still have the rights to Americans to this protocol when we pass away. We still have the right to that. We still have our families still have the right to know. If we pass away unexpectedly, our families still have the right to know what happened to us. When we go to other countries, we don't have that right. Our right is stripped. But the funny thing is, all the other rights are not stripped. We still got to pay taxes on whatever money we make in those other countries. We still have to follow whatever American laws are. We still have to follow those. So why doesn't that follow us? Our right to, when we pass away, our right to autopsy, our right to know what happened to us if we pass away unexpectedly, because it's our right here. And we're arguing as a community that right should not change just because we decided we wanted to go on vacation in another country, or just because we decided we wanted to move to another country. We never gave those ladies we talk about, those people we talk about, never gave up their citizenship. Never. They were American citizens. And to this day, maybe two of them, I don't even care. The two of them who got the bodies back, who did autopsies, I guarantee you they couldn't find out anything. I guarantee you that information was inconclusive, or they're telling them this is all we could find out. That would never happen. If that was in the United States, you know that with Danita's death, Danita was 33 years old. She married that man, went back with her two autistic twins who were getting Social Security, SSI. Danita was getting something because she was disabled. She had, what is that? Diabetes. He knew it. She told him all about it. She also was having some mental illnesses. He knew it. She told him all about it. She married that man the first trip. The second trip she went back, she took her 2 autistic sons. 3 days later, Danita was dead. To this day, we don't know what happened to Danita. You know how I found out about Danita? Somebody wrote me. And we were doing a consultation because I'll talk to y'all for free. So we was talking for free about, she had some questions about her relationship. And then when we were getting ready to hang up, she said, well, hey, Kiki, have you heard about Danita? I said, who is Danita? She said, oh, Danita went to Nigeria, married a man she met on Facebook in a Facebook group. And honey, he's still active on Facebook to this day. And if you go to her videos, you're going to see his rusty butt in my comment section trying to talk trash to me. Now, let me finish. So she goes, her friend introduces her to the dude, right? Some dude she don't want. If I don't want him, I'm not going to introduce him to my friend. So she don't want him, but she introduced him to Danita. Danita goes to Africa, Nigeria. Danita marries the dude. And guess what? Danita takes her 2 autistic sons, takes all the money she can get mad at her family because they not giving her money. Take her 2 autistic sons. She go to Nigeria. 3 days after Danita arrives in Nigeria with her 2 autistic sons, who both get SSI checks, Danita is gone. And you know how we found out? On her Instagram. She said, Kiki, look on her Instagram. She is gone. I said, what do you mean she's gone? She says she's gone, Kiki. She passed away. I said, 3 days after she got there, was she sick? She said, no, we couldn't tell. She said, and we don't even know what happened to her because she just dropped off. It was like she just dropped off. Then all of a sudden, because she had a big social media presence, then she just disappeared. And then the next video they see, this woman is in her casket. No autopsy, no tox screen. She lays in the morgue for 3 months in Nigeria, and her family don't even know it. Would that happen here? No. And if it did happen, you're going to be brought up on charges. Finally, the uncle tells the story about, he tells his uncle. He don't know what to do. His wife passed away. She's here 3 months. He still got the kids. The uncle tells the embassy. But all along, this dude is conning her parents, trying to get money back. Get the boys back, saying, if you send me this money, I'm going to send the boys back. Because the boys are autistic, and one of them is nonverbal. They don't talk that much. Steady asking the family for money. They sending it, but the boys ain't coming back. So he tells the uncle in Nigeria, guess what the uncle do? The uncle, thank God, he calls the police, y'all. He calls the Nigerian police and tell them there is a dead American woman over there in that village, and she's been there for 3 months. They go arrest him. They put him in prison. They get the boys, and finally the boys get back home. Yeah, that sounded like a movie, didn't it? That sounded like I made that story up, didn't it? No, it's a true story. Documented proof on YouTube and Instagram. Documented proof. So that's why I call it Danita's Act, because Danita was the first one. And I just started it. I just came up with that name because I needed a name to tell y'all tonight. So it's Danita's Act. And so I've been researching how to really get this through. And for us to really get this through, the first thing we need is an organized body. We need a group. We need to be an organized group. All right. So we're organized group on here, but we need to be like an organized group on paper. You know what I mean? Like an organization. So that's the first thing we need to come together to do, to organize legitimately and document that we are an organized group. All right. So all of you, I don't expect all of you to participate, but if you do want to participate, and we don't, oh, y'all, I'm warning y'all. My grandkids is outside. I'm gonna have to switch locations because when they get in here, it ain't gonna sound nothing like this, y'all. So I'm gonna have to switch locations. So just hang on. I'm gonna let y'all know when they coming in the house. I can hear them outside. Ain't that sad? You can hear them coming. You can hear my grandkids coming. Hold on. Let me go tell beautiful. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. So our next meeting for our first meeting for this, where we're going to get together, talk about the structure of the organization. I'm gonna show y'all what. Okay, so for us to do that, okay, yeah, I'm moving locations. So for us to do that, we have to organize as a group. All right, so that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to talk about organizing as a structured body, because then we can go, after we organize as a structured body, then we can go to our Congress people, then we can really make demands. You know what I'm saying? Because then we are a recognized group. Right now, okay, we're kind of a group, but we're not a documented group. A documented group like the Black Panthers, the NAACP, like those groups. But to me, the NAACP, now this is just my opinion, they're so out of touch with reality now that they're, like, to me, an ineffective group. So, but that's just my opinion. But we need to get organized in a group like that. I think I did spell. I think I went back and spelled it right. I did. Oh, okay. Because, honey, and y'all know that wasn't me. That was, what's his name? What's this thing? This AI agent I used. She spelled it all jacked up. And I'm like, oh, Lord, she done jacked up the man's name. Okay, so that's what we're doing next Saturday. It's going to be about 2:00. If you want to be a member, if you want to join, we're going to talk about the structure. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. All right. About really just getting it together, because, like I said, the next step is to go to Congress. Okay. But we can't go to Congress because as individuals, we need to go as a body. Congress likes to see numbers. They like to see people. You see what I'm saying? That's what they like to see. So we need to organize ourselves so we can do that. So that was the announcement. Ooh, I left the phone in the other room. I'll get it as soon as they get in here. So let me see. I think that was all the other stuff I had to tell you. We're going to do that next week. Now let me go get these comments. Debo, tell me if I forgot something, please. Oh, that's right. I meant to do make. Yes. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. All right, Debo, let me know if I forget something. Y'all, let me know if I forget anything. Okay, please. Okay. No, I just, honey, let me tell y'all, this is funny. This is real funny. I didn't plan on going live today until I saw O'Shea's video about Tariq Nasheed. Y'all know I don't never talk about Tariq Nasheed. I don't even know much about Tariq Nasheed. I just know he's the leader, and I might get it wrong, of this FBA movement. And I think the FBA are for firstborn Americans. Are those the people who believe in the Indians, y'all? So, because I kind of believe now the firstborn Americans, I kind of like that part, because I know where they're getting at. They're getting at, like, we were the first Africans that were born in, hi baby, we were the first Africans born in America. So I get that. I get that part. Okay. After, like, we were. Okay. So but that's not necessarily true, because if those Maybe they're talking about during this transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. I'm not racking my brain over that. But okay, so that's what they believe. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with y'all on that part. But other than that, I really don't know. I know they argue with the Pan African people a lot. They disagree with them a lot. But their ideology, I'm really not abreast on that like that, because like I said, I don't follow groups like that, because I feel like if you get into one of those groups, like FBA, if you get into the Pan Africans, you get into the Black nationalists, you gotta stick to it. You gotta ride or die to it. Like, and they usually don't want you being friends with the other groups. They don't want you collaborating. They don't want you talking to. They don't want you mixing the ideology. And I don't believe in that. That's just me. So I believe I learn from differences. That's how I learn. I learn from people who are different than me. So for somebody who thinks differently from me, that's like interesting for me. So I'm like, okay, well, tell me more. So, that's my position on that. And a lot of these groups, they're not like that. So when I realized, and that's the reason I don't go to church either. I don't belong to a church anymore, because the denominations are like that. When I was going to the charismatic church, remember I told you I was doing all that. And I would go to Nation of Islam meetings. Oh my God, they wanted to kick me out of the church because I was going to meetings with the Nation of Islam. And I was tying a hijab on my head. They thought I was going to hell. The Nation of Islam people was going to come and destroy the church. It was unbelievable. The ignorance was unbelievable. And to come to find out, they're all telling pretty much the same stories. I'm serious. Read all three of the holy books, y'all. If y'all read them all, if y'all read the New Testament, the Holy Bible, the Quran, yeah, they tell the same stories. It's about the same people. I kid you not. They'll put a different spin on it. They'll spell the name different and put a little accent on it. But they talking about the same people. So we all serving the same God at the end of the day. So when I realized that, I was like, I can't be a part of these organizations because they try to box me in. And I don't like being boxed in. I like exploring new things. So that's why I don't know much about this dude, because I'm not a part of his organization. I don't, really research his organization. But hey, dude is cool with me. Dude ain't never done nothing to me. I ain't got nothing against dude. Right. So I hear people talk about him, but that's pretty much it. But tonight, I'm watching my O'Shea Duke Jackson like I always do. And let me tell y'all, when I realized that I watch O'Shea Duke Jackson too much, was today. Do you know what my niece said to me? When I was watching the video about Tariq Nasheed, right? I said, "Oh, I talk to the TV." While I'm talking to the TV. So I'm talking to the TV, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to get on and talk about this. Oh, I'm going live right now." Guess what she said, y'all? She said, "Who you gonna talk about? Anton?" Y'all know why she said that? If you've been watching O'Shea Kinganda, O'Shea Duke Jackson, you know why she said that. She said that when she said that, I fell out laughing. I said, "No, I'm not talking about Anton." But if you know, you laugh it. If you don't know, you wondering, what is she talking about? But anyway, I thought that was funny. So no, I'm talking about these comments I heard 2 or 3 weeks later. Okay. Hey Renee. Uh, where are the autistic kids now, honey? They finally got them back, but it took a while. It took a while, and he was getting that money. He was getting them kids checked. See, He didn't want to get the kids back, y'all, because he was getting the kids checks. She had everything coming there, y'all. Everything. He was getting everything. He was getting them kids checks, and he wasn't trying to send them kids back. Because you know them kids is autistic. They get SSI. Poor kids was in their room. In the room the whole time. When she showed the kids, they was in the room. And I said, I bet the kids were so traumatized, they didn't know what happened to their mother. And guess what, y'all? Do y'all know one of the little boy writes me? And he told me he want to come on the show and tell his side of the story. He want to tell what really happened to them over there. But I told him you have to talk with your dad. See, the dad was never down with them going to Africa. The dad was, she actually took them. All right. Because when she brought him back the first time, the dad took him. Because he like, you ain't going to keep taking my kids. You know, you ain't doing that. My kids not going to Africa like that. So he took the kids from her. She got the kids back. And that's when she took him to Africa. I shouldn't say she didn't have his permission. I don't know whether she had his permission, but it don't look like she did because he don't want to talk about it at all. He want the boys to like move on from it because I know it was traumatizing. And who knows, because they treat kids with disabilities like that differently than what we do. For one, day when from what I've seen, there's no services like what we have. Like here, you got a disability like that. Hey, you're gonna get 2 teachers at school. You know, you're gonna get all kind of special services. Not over there. You lucky if you even go to a school. So I don't know what it had to be bad. You know, the little boy wanted to come on. I said, well, you got to talk to your dad because you're underage. And his dad wouldn't let him do it. And I don't blame him. His dad probably wants him to move on. So the kids ended up with the dad. They're back in the States after I don't know how long. All the going trying to get them back. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. Okay. I'll give you some food. Yeah, that was crazy. That's why I said that's why I call it Danita's act. Because when Danita set the stage, and after that, y'all, it was like the story started rolling in. It was like because I remember, y'all, I was so hurt over Danita, and I was so hurt because there was no news. There was no national news about it. There was nothing. Nothing. To this day, there's nothing. It's just my story. So I was just really hurt, and I was praying, and I was saying, God, this is wrong, and I don't ever want another woman, because at that time she was, you know, her story was it was a woman's story. I said I didn't want any other woman story, her life to be in vain like that, for her just to go to Africa and pass away and nobody care. So that's how I started on that, and then I started getting stories after stories after stories. And Josephine, they got crazier and crazier and crazier. Hello, the Gambian. How you doing? He kept the kids, for the disability check. 2 months of them and finally gave them back to the States. Yep, Renee sure did. Yep. And then, he got the nerve to come on my channel. Y'all know. I who said it? That people don't expect Kiki's roasting skills to be on the level that they are. That Kiki is not the one you want to go toe to toe with. No, she is not. She is not. Because you have to remember, I'm not a woman who just runs my mouth and giggles. No. When I open my mouth, I know what I'm talking about. I don't talk about things I don't know about. Because guess what? When I was a little girl, the girls in our family got whoopings for running their mouths and acting silly. So we weren't allowed to be silly girls who sat up and talked about nothing and nonsense. So he wanted to come on my channel. Like I said, go look through it. And do you think he apologized? Do you think he said anything you saying is not true? No. He ain't say none of that. He arguing with me because he telling me I don't have no college degrees. I don't have no college degrees. Okay. How do he know what I got? Hey, Golden Heart, how you doing, sweetie? Yeah, Josephine, it was bad. Tariq blocked. Why, Charlie? Why did Tariq block you this morning? Did I spell this dude's name right? Well, did the AI person spell his name right? Another. He'll unblock me in the morning. I'm not gonna even say that. What has Rashik said? He said some deep stuff, girl. I'm about to play it. You didn't forget anything. Okay, good. Debo. Thank you, sweetie. Uh, what's your name? KJ. I can't. That's too much for me to try to figure out. K something. KKJ. Tyreek. Girl, stop it. You lying, KK. That man wasn't no pimp long ago. Please don't see. Y'all see why I can't be none of these movements. I can't. I can't. Because my first thing is gonna say, what can you tell me? What? 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 I just can't. I can't with these people. And I'm not saying you don't change your life. I ain't saying that because look at Malcolm X. Look at Malcolm X. So I'm not saying that. But it's just far too many of them. And they don't end up like Malcolm X. They don't be true to it and real to it to their heart like Malcolm X. If you want to know how real Malcolm X was to this cause, look up the FBI files about Malcolm X. And you'll see how loyal he was to us as a people. Martin Luther King wasn't. He was too busy cheating on his wife. Cheating on his wife. Was Malcolm X cheating on his wife? Nope. They couldn't get Malcolm X to do no dirt on nobody. But Martin Luther King was doing all his dirt on his own wife, betraying his own wife. And we got a holiday where we celebrate. Y'all get out in the street and march for this man, don't y'all? Don't y'all? And I just sit at home and I laugh because I study history. I study our history. And I know anybody that's fed to us as a leader, they ain't no leader. They just like them leaders in Africa. Anybody they don't want us to ever look at as a leader, that's your leader. That's the real one. That's the realer. But they don't want you to look at that person. And that's the person you better pay. All eyes better be on. The person they trying to destroy. But the man who's sleeping with his wife, that's sleeping with everybody else, they done gave him a whole holiday. A whole holiday. Not Medgar Evers, who laid down his life, didn't cheat on his wife. Nope. They mad at him because he got the black man to vote. How dare he? Not Malcolm X. Nope, not him. He didn't cheat on his wife. He laid down his life in front of his kids. Nah, y'all don't get no holiday. We just throw them in with Martin Luther King and y'all be happy about that. We ain't gonna give y'all no ride or dies. We not gonna give y'all no real soldiers. We not gonna give y'all no real warriors so y'all can remember who y'all are. Because look, every time the warriors step up and we remember who we are, look what they do to them. Case in point, Huey P. Newton. Look what they did to him. Please research what they did to this man. The Black Panthers were intellectuals, people. These was not hood rats. They were college students. They met at the university. Not the, it was a community college, but it was a school. It was higher, an institution of higher learning. They met at the community college. Programs you see today, those social programs you see today, created by the Black Panthers. But you got to dig under rock after rock after rock to find that out. They destroyed Huey P. Newton and his reputation. People don't even know that man was a doctor. That is Dr. Huey P. Newton, not Huey P. Newton. That's Dr. Newton. Why do you think they don't want us to know that man had a PhD? Because if he got a PhD, he know what he's talking about. He's a critical thinker. You better open your eyes, people. You better open your eyes. Tariq was a wannabe pimp. Well, what happened, y'all? Why he ain't pimping no more? Did he go to jail? What happened? Why he ain't pimping no more? Peace in my guard. Honey, I know that's right. FBA is fundamental Black American. 13 generations of being American before America was established. That means we are descendants, yep. Yep. See, and that's the part I agree with 100%. Yep, sure do. And that's historical facts. Yep, they can prove that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can prove that. So she said he's selfish. YouTube says Malcolm X was the greatest American that ever lived. In my book. You know what? And YouTube, I agree with you. Out of all, oh, well, I can't say that. No, because when I go back to the first ones, when I go back to, what's his name? W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, A. Philip Randolph, I can't say that. You want to stay in here? Y'all, my grandkids got my little cat scared. She don't like them. She don't like them. She like they too loud and wild. Okay, you can come stand here. So I couldn't say that because it's too many of them. But you don't know them because they don't tell their stories. They don't want you to, especially Ida B. Wells and Harriet Tubman. There was a bounty on that woman's head. I think it was like $30,000. How much was it, y'all? But it was a substantial amount of money. And then her husband left her. Y'all, the husband wanted her to stop doing the Underground Railroad. So guess what? She said no. And do you know he left her and told on her? Left her and told on her. Now imagine that. The ultimate sleeping with the enemy. Yeah. So I can't really say that because it's so many. And, you know, Ida B. Wells and her red record, how she went around and she documented every time they took a Black man's life. She documented it because she said there's going to be a record of this. There's going to, just like, I guess that's where I got it from, though, because she was one of my people. And I remember how she documented these deaths. And she said, you're not going to forget about these. You're not going to act like this didn't happen. So maybe that's why I started doing the videos, documenting what happened to these women. Maybe this is my version of the red record, because Ida B. Wells is when I first poured libations, I was at the university. When I first learned how to do it, I was at the university. And I remember one of the two people those were the three people that I called on was Malcolm X, Ida B. Wells, and W.E.B. Du Bois. We were doing a Black history thing at the university. So she's always been like one of my favorite people because, she stood up to everybody and she didn't care. Okay. Okay, Sheet said, at least you can own a GUN here to protect yourself. You can own guns in Africa, places in Africa. You just have to register them, just like here. In Africa, a lone woman is obviously a victim if they attempt, yes. Yes. And I don't know why they're not telling the truth. I don't know why. Because see, then if you don't want, some women, like my mom was at that point, she didn't decide she didn't want to get married no more. You know, she was older, she just didn't want to. But they feel like something's wrong with you. If you decide you don't want a man, you know, and you're gonna become a problem. People will mess with you. Oh, you know why I don't talk about Frederick Douglass? I like Frederick. I do like him because you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But you know what Frederick Douglass did, honey, and I can't understand to this day why he did that. His second wife, that last wife, that I was all down for Frederick Douglass till I got to who the last wife was, and I was like, what? How do you go through all of this? How do you believe in all of this, and then you do this? I didn't get that. But you're right. Frederick Douglass is a great one. And he I wouldn't say he's the first and the best. He was the first. He probably was. He was, I don't know, I gotta look at the timelines because W.E.B. Du Bois started early. No, Frederick Douglass, this was during slave times. So you're right, he was. He pretty much was. Yeah, he was. Kevin said Tariq wasn't no never real pimp. He was just portrayed as a pimp in Michael Moore on Michael Moore's show. Michael Moore, who do the documentaries, he did what about Tariq Nasheed? Oh, I gotta watch it. He's hilarious. Wow, I didn't know that. All right, now let's watch this video. I want to comment to this, y'all. I want to respond to this because, like I said, I know very little about FBA and I know very little about Tariq Nasheed. But when I was watching this, I found myself agreeing with everything this man was saying. And this man supposedly hates Africa, and this is just what I hear. He hate Africa, and he don't think we should go to. Does he think we should not visit, or just not live there? Um, so that's all I knew about him. So let me get this up here. And again, this is fair use. And I'm going to show y'all King Gonda's video. I'm going to show y'all O'Shea's video. Okay. I just can't get over it. Who you going to talk about? Anton? Because O'Shea been killing Anton. And I said, dang, I thought I was bad. O'Shea got me beat. Man, I can learn something from him. So no, this ain't about Anton. This is about Tariq Nasheed. All right, y'all ready? So here we go.
When I was in Senegal, I noticed this, and I talked about this on Twitter. I asked, when I was over in Senegal, and I'm all over the place. I'm literally just going everywhere. I'm all over downtown Dakar, just and some of the little rural places here. I'm in a lot of. Dakar is not that big, but I mean not Dakar, but Senegal is not that big of a country. It's not really that big. But I noticed something. I rarely saw elderly people.
This is something that is also common in Uganda. I think the average age for somebody in Uganda is like 16 to 17. Kenya is like the average age of 21, 22. So he's talking about no older people in Senegal. Let's continue.
I didn't see.
Okay, now so I'm gonna have to cut it off like that. So look, that comment about the older people, I see when I go, I think it might have been because when you're in the urban areas, the vibe is a little different. And especially when you're in the touristy areas, especially when you're in areas where it costs money, where we usually frequent, you're not going to see a lot of elderly people there because they don't have money to be there. You know, so most of the and they consider elderly, y'all, 50. When you in 50, yo 40, you down here. You an old man at 40, 50 is just over. So they don't usually have the money, and that's true. They don't have the money to go to those places. And most of the one, this is from my perspective, they gave you there too. Them O'Shea and Kinganda gave you there. Now mine is, when I'm there, they're in the village. That's where I've seen them at in full force. is in the village because the village is cheap. And they're usually there with the kids. Like the girls will have babies and they'll drop off the babies in the village for the grandma or the mom who's 50 something, but she looked 70, to have her watch the kids. So that's true. Okay, let me put it back on.
Too many elderly people. When I was in Dakar in the urban area, I didn't see one person over the age of like 60, 65. Not one. I just didn't. I didn't. People thought I was exaggerating. No, I didn't see any person who could be like 60 or 65. Damn sure didn't see nobody 70 or 80. No, I didn't see them. In Senegal, yes, in Senegal.
Most I seen was, did y'all hear that one part? The most I seen when I went over there was 70. I never seen 70 or 80. Let me go back to make sure y'all heard that because I had the mute thing on.
One person over the age of like 60, 65. Not one. I just didn't. I didn't. People thought I was exaggerating. No, I didn't see any person who could be like 60 or 65.
Yep.
Damn sure didn't see nobody 70 or 80. No, I didn't see him. In Senegal, yes. In Senegal. In Senegal, yeah.
Yeah, in all three of those countries, I've never seen anybody like he said over the age of 65. No. I don't even think I seen anybody 65, to be honest. Like I'll take that back. In Gambia, my husband's family, they're older like that. His mom, her sister, her brothers. But guess where she lives? Like I told you, she lives in the village. My husband's mom, she lives in the city, but that's because they got a big compound and she lives in the city with them, with her kids. You know what I mean? But the other ones, the older ones are in the village. I'm sure he didn't go to the village like that because you don't. They probably took him to, you know how they do. You take you to the expensive places, and older people definitely are not there. All right, so let's go back to this.
I said, okay, yeah, this is a thing. Okay, then I start talking to some people. I said, oh, okay, this is a thing.
But why is it a thing? We're going to find out.
I said, okay, most of the continent is full of kids.
Yes.
In Africa. Yeah. And it's like that really all over Africa, especially West Africa. Most of the continent is full of children.
And this is important to know. When you're poor, okay, let's say, for example, my country I'm living in, Uganda, in metropolitan areas like Kampala or even in Kenya, Nairobi, people will give less births. And the reason why is because there's more opportunities in the city. It's more expensive to live in the city, so you have less births. Yeah. But when you are in rural areas, rural populations, okay, and you don't have opportunities, your educational system is weaker. Now, Kenya has a stronger educational system, and the young women stay in school longer in Kenya, which on average leads to people having less births. So the longer women stay educated, the less kids they have. Uganda is not this as strong. So women having kids, 16, the average Ugandan woman has 6 to 7 kids. Then, as you know, if you go back and look at the terms of the Bush War, where many men died and not were able to be replenished, probably people leaving the diaspora or for the diaspora, you get this. Many kids.
I just did not see too many elderly people.
That was something also that I noticed. And it was like the girls didn't go to school. They would, especially in this was the thing in Cameroon, y'all. They didn't believe in sending their girls to school. Okay, they didn't, because they said they were going to get married. They thought it was a waste, because she's going to get married. She's going to go be somebody's wife. She's going to have kids. She's going to eventually, I don't care if she stays out, and work in the workforce for so long, she still is not bringing that money to us. She's taking that money to another family. So that's why they don't really believe in that. Okay. So that is what you see. You see a lot of girls, and they're young. They don't have any education. They're not in school, but you got to remember, school has to be paid for. It is not like here. It is not like here. So what is the girl going to do? She's going to do what she know to do, what she trained to do, to sell what she got, to work with what you got. If you ain't got nothing, work with what you got. And some women are trained to do that, and some women do that. Some women are trained to make something out of nothing. Some women are trained to just sell what you got. And all too often over there, that's what you see. Then they have all these kids thinking this dude gonna marry me, this dude and don't nobody marry you. You just end up sleeping without, and that's what the thing in Cameroon. The family I lived with, they were the father was a doctor, and he had a private clinic. So these girls, my brother there, house brother, whatever you call it, he worked at the clinic, right? And he had this side hustle. The side hustle, y'all, was he would sell the girls pregnancy tests, right? So the girls would take pregnancy tests. He would do it as a side business to let them know if they were pregnant, and he would keep it on the hush, because these girls were dating married businessmen in the city, and they were pregnant by these were big men, okay, that these girls would be pregnant by. Yeah. And the man it's not like here, he didn't get made to pay child support. He didn't get made to do anything but what he wanted to do. And if he didn't want to take care of your child, he was not going to do it. As soon as he didn't fancy you anymore, he wasn't giving you anything. So that is a big, humongous problem, is lack of education for women, because O'Shea is exactly right. The more education that woman has, the less kids she's got. My kids are 10 years apart, okay, and I got just 2. So it just show you the more education she has, she ain't on that. She not on that, all that nonsense. No, she don't have time for that. So that's exactly right. If these girls were being educated, you would see this rate of birth decline. And like they were saying, all these young people in Africa, it is. That's all you see is young people. And that's why when you go over there, you mainly meet somebody younger than you, because the people our age is gone. They gone, or they blind and crippled. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. They don't look like they're our age. They don't. But I don't know how, because some people don't look too good for their age. So I don't know. Some people don't age gracefully. So I shouldn't say our age. Okay? Because some people look they age and some. But nonetheless, y'all know what I'm saying. The more children, the more, that's how I look at it, JW. The more children, the more poverty. All right, let's get back over here. But yeah, that's what I thought. I agree with all that.
I did not see, and that was strange to me, because when I go places, I like to see and chop it up with the Black elders, because I like to get game from them. I like to find some of the elders so I can sit down and chop it up with them. That's part of foundational Black American culture. We show respect to the elders. We chop it up with them and all of that.
Now, I agree with that 100%, because that's how you really learn. That's how you learn about the culture. That's how you learn about the social norms. That's how you learn, is by sitting around the elders. When I was a little girl, I loved to sit around older people. Even to this day, I love to be around older people. I love to talk to them. I love to hear what they're saying. I just love it. because you learn so much from them. So I agree with that, but no, to do that, you got to go to like the village. You really do, to sit around them, and most of them won't be able to talk to you because most of them do not speak North American English. They don't,
But
and their elderly
the
is
reality
they're it's not the same. Like it's just not the same. It's sad.
is, especially in Nigeria, Nigeria has the lowest life expectancy rate in the world. The average age, the life expectancy of Nigeria is 54 years old.
Wow.
You understand?
You've been promised incredible things
Hold on,
with
y'all.
AI, but has it actually lived up to all the hype? I can promise you that today it will. Introducing
The life expectancy of Nigeria is 54, ladies and gentlemen. That's the lowest
Wow.
on
Can
the
y'all
planet.
believe that?
Let's talk about that.
54.
Because so many people are critical of Tariq Nasheed, and you can see why this thumbnail looks like a Somalian person with an oversized forehead, and they're upset. But listen to what he's talking about, because the people who are critics of Africa, Captain Tazariak, Tariq Nasheed, they are not the problems in what happens in Africa. Because if the average age of a person that dies in Nigeria is 54, it means a few things. It means that corruption is killing the country.
Yep.
We talked about what happened with Anthony Joshua in December. His friend died. Two of his friends, colleagues in the game, died because the tire hit a nail and then a rim or something like that on this road. This same road people have been talking about for years that have been killing Nigerians. Well, what happens is when you're corrupt, you steal the money that should be used to make roads safe. You would have the money to make the medical or healthcare institutions safe. But when you're corrupt, those services don't work. And so what happens is people die as a result. Okay? People can't get treatment. There are cases where medicines are not in stock. It's just crazy, right? And then it's interesting when these things happen, these are people in the Pan-African community or in the African community, not hashtag FBA or hashtag Hebrew Israelites, to Captain Tazariak in this case. They're not the ones responsible for this. People in Africa are responsible for this. The Pan-African community is responsible for this. So nothing that he's saying is false. He's just telling the truth.
People don't live that long over there. Yeah, look it up. I'm not making this up.
Right.
54, yes. That's the life expectancy in Nigeria. 54 years old. That's why they be trying to get the hell up out of there.
Wow.
Because in their mind, living there until you get older is a damn death sentence, because they don't really have no infrastructure like that. Remember when old boy got into the car accident?
Yep.
In that area, there were no ambulances.
And they're not lying, y'all.
Look.
They're not lying. I'm telling you, the whole time I'll be there, I'll just be praying and praying and praying, because I know there ain't no help coming. There's no paramedics. It's nothing like, and the roads are so messed up. The traffic is so jammed up. There was nobody there. You see who had to help AJ? It was a man. My son was like, that's a man with a suit on? You mean to tell me a man in a suit from the car had to get out of his car and go help him? He looked at me and said, Ma, I ain't never going to Africa. Never. All the money, Nigeria, they ate it up though. Them greedy politicians, they did Nigeria dirty. Ate all the money, chopped it all. They chopped it all. Nigeria is so messed up now. So messed up now. But this is true. There's nothing this man has said that is a lie. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing he has said about Senegal is a lie. So let's finish. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me see what he gonna say first. Then I want to show you.
What he's saying is 100% truth. Okay?
They didn't even have emergency services.
No.
You see? No, we're just talking real here. Let's just get real here. So yeah, they don't really have health care like that.
No.
The people who could be doctors, they're getting the hell up out of there.
This is a very important thing. The people who could be doctors actually go and become doctors someplace else. Like Nigeria has like the most doctors in the NHS, very many in the United States. So the people who could help the country don't want to be there because there's no incentivization. So why do we have this coming from a person who's FBA, who's anti-African, but he understands all this?
Right.
It's because when you bring this up to Africans or African leadership, they don't care. It's the truth. They don't care.
So what happens is you have a whole bunch of children running around there, a bunch of young people running around there. And a lot of people getting the hell up out of there because when you got to scramble and scrape as a young person, you can kind of scrounge around and be in survival mode all the time. But when you get older, that's the brain drain.
See?
When you get older, you can't do that.
See, you can't.
When you get older, you can't scrounge around for little scraps and pieces to survive. So you out of here. When you get to a certain age and you can't run around hustling and scrounging up little peanuts and pennies here and there, you're not going to survive. And there is no infrastructure to take care of the elderly.
No.
This is actually correct. Not only is there not much infrastructure to take care of the elderly, there is no infrastructure to take care of the youth.
No.
How many job programs that I've seen in most countries in Africa? Not very many. Skilling programs, not very many.
So
how to do business, how to talk to clients.
Okay, hold on. Before he show that, let me show y'all this. This is something else they don't talk to us about Nigeria. Since y'all want to say, oh, she don't never talk about Nigeria. That's a lie. That's a whole lie. Just because you don't come on, you don't research anything. You just make up things about people. Because all you got to do is look through my channel. Look through this, y'all. Look at this, y'all. Child marriage in Nigeria. In Nigeria, girls face discrimination based on their gender. Girls are married off at alarming ages. Wait a minute. I thought I heard my kids crying. Due to poverty, religious isolation. Wait a minute, y'all. And of course, literacy. Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. Mookie on me. What's wrong with him? Mookie on me. Okay. All right, y'all. So let me see. So this is the part I want y'all to see. Due to the majority of the poverty and religious isolation, we talked about that. Literacy of both parents. Illiteracy of both. Mookie on me. All right, illiteracy. Where am I at? See, these kids then started interrupting me with all this noise. Got the animals all upset. Okay. Where am I at? This is what I'm trying to say. Literacy. Oh, both parents are illiterate. Okay. It says illiteracy. Sit down, Kiyomi. Of both parents, and that it's a girl child herself. So listen, this is the part I want y'all to see. The legal age of sexual activity in Nigeria is 11 years of age. Girl-child marriages interferes with the education and acquisition of skills needed to access educational opportunity, food, and nutrition. All right, y'all, right there. Now, this was done by the YMCA. Yeah, this was a study done by the YMCA. It was, I guess they put on some kind of, that's wild to me. But I had heard that a long time ago, that their age of consent, well, no, not age of consent. I don't want to say Age of consent. It says age of consent to sexual activity. Yeah, age of consent is 11. This is an 11-year-old girl right here. She can consent in Nigeria. I didn't say it, so don't say I said it. The YMCA said it. All right, in this article called Child Marriage in Nigeria. All right, you got a problem with it? Write down. Not me. All right, let me go get y'all comments real quick. They speak French in Senegal. Does Tariq speak French? No. But I'm sure they speak English too. I'm sure some of them speak English and they speak Wolof. A lot of places will speak some type of English. I'm sure he had a translator or whatever. FBA all day. Y'all don't like it, then leave, please. What is there not to like, though? What can they not like? The man telling the truth. Where is the research papers? Oh, you must be an older person to back up, not Google. Well, let me tell you something. The research papers have all been uploaded to Google now. Their AI has gotten a hold to all the research papers. So what you do, I'm going to tell you how to find out if you want the actual paper. Okay. So you go to Google. Well, you can't just, you can go to Google. Yeah. And you ask Google questions. And then if you go, I think it's on the right-hand side and up at the dots, there's like 3 little dots. And you ask Google, where did you get this information? Or tell me the sources. They'll give you the name of the articles that where the information comes from. Okay, so it's no more. You can look up the individual research papers if you want to, but a lot of them are not, especially if they're university papers, they're not, you're not going to have access to them unless you have access to certain journals. Okay, so that's how I get it. You can get it too. That anybody can get the research now because AI has it. Okay, AI can do research, but you got to learn. You have to know how to ask the research questions. And the only way you know how to ask the right research questions is if you know how to do research. All right, so that's where that's where they are. So if you want me to, I mean, if you had something in mind that you wanted me to look at or that you wanted to know more about, just let me know and I'll give you I'll put it up there, okay? I'll put the source up there, like the actual article, okay? So real fundamentals of the entire electrical grid. Oh my God, listen to this, y'all. The entire electrical grid in Nigeria was totally collapsed twice in the past 4 days. Don't say that. You see what I mean? And why? Why? I know those kids getting on y'all nerves. The dog and the cat done ran in here. Because it's quiet with in my house, y'all, it's quiet. It's very quiet. I don't like noise. But when they get over here, they turn the whole house on 10. And the dog and the cat that ran in here like, what's going on? Chris says, ice, baby. I don't get that. Chris says, get your tether. Tether? Who got tethers on here? What? Oh, you talking about the people who come now? Okay, yeah, it looks like that's what's going on. So Slim says Tariq's diagnosing an entire country. He oh my God, listen, y'all, in a few days, but you're got on issue with but okay, let me understand this. But you got an issue with Africans point out the obvious in Black community. What? How are the Africans going to point out the obvious in our community? Do they even study our community? Show me an African who got a degree in Black American history, because you can study our history. I did it. So tell me, how do you do that? Tell me an African, and then I'll listen to that African. But most of the times, the Africans don't know nothing about us except what they see on TV and what they hear in the music. They don't take the time to study us, so please stop it. Only one I know who studied us was my university professor. That was it. And he didn't really study us like that. They don't study us. They don't care about us like that. That's a whole lie. So how is he going to point the obvious out about us? To point the obvious out, you got to know the obvious. And that's the thing that be killing me when they be making all these videos about us. How you going to talk about, you don't know nothing about us. Nothing but what you see. But what you see. And that's based on your opinion on what you see is based on, guess what? Your life experiences. So if I was a Black person who had a rough time back in Africa, if I came from the ethnic group who was not seen or as favorite and it was on the bottom, and then I come to and I see these Black Americans who do what they want to do whenever they want to do it. And like Kanye West say, we don't care what you say. We don't care what people say. Of course you would be jealous of that person. Of course you would be jealous of them because you would think, how dare they? How dare they, with this messed up history they have, how dare they self-define themselves? Well, that's because you didn't look at the part of the history, what happened after we got to America. You looked at the part where we were slaves. You didn't look at the part what happened after that. Did we stay slaves? No, ma'am, we didn't. No, ma'am, we didn't. No, ma'am, we didn't. We went to another continent. We formed another ethnic group. And we broke away from slavery. We refused the title. We never accepted the title as slaves. So I'm confused. I know that was off point. I'm sorry. Point out that, because they can't point out they be killing me trying to talk about us. They be killing me with that, killing me. I mean, I'm like, wow, really? How do you know so much? Pray tell. When you don't even live in our community, most of them don't live in our community. Most of them are not married to us, not for real. Because one of my exes, y'all heard me, one of them, this is what he told me. He said, thank you. He said, once we broke up and everything, because I told you, we speak it now and then. He said, thank you, because you taught me about Black American culture. He said, most Africans that come here will never have the experience I had, because I got a chance to live inside of Black American culture and see what it was really like and see what you all are really like. And he said, it's nothing like what we tell us, what they tell us. Nothing like. And this is somebody telling me this, an African telling me this, that they don't, if it wasn't for him marrying a Black American, getting inside our culture, interacting with our family, celebrating our holidays with us, eating our food, dancing to our music, doing what we do, speaking like us. He said, I would have never had that experience. I would have never known nothing about Black American culture, because when we get here, we don't mix with y'all. We stay amongst ourselves. Now, African told me that. So how he gonna state the obvious when you don't even know the obvious? Which is partly what led to the delineation movement. Tariq is the wrong man. The wrong man for what? To give his own opinion? What's wrong with the YMCA? I think it was, I said YMCA. I'm sorry, YWCA. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to say YMCA. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, I'm human. I make mistakes. Even AI make mistakes. So come on. If AI gonna make mistakes, come on. I'm gonna make them also. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say YMCA. It's YW. East African homeland for the diaspora is also where we belong. Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, it's the YWCA. Child marriage. Tanya says the child marriage bit in Nigeria is fundamentally, she's right, it's in northern Nigeria, but that don't make a difference. It's still messed up. But I bet you got it. I bet it go on in Lagos because everybody's in Lagos. And I bet you it go on in middle Nigeria too. Because once you get out of Lagos, it turned to regular Africa. Lagos is not. Lagos is its own whatever. But I guarantee you it goes on in Lagos. And I know daggone well it goes on in Ogun State, Benue State, what's that other state I went to? I can't even remember now. But yeah, it goes on. It's not just that's minimizing it. You can't minimize this. This is their culture. Muslims are all over. So yeah, predominantly in northern Nigeria, because that's where most of the Muslims are. But that goes on. That goes on all over, because Islam is practiced all over there. And especially, like I said, once you get out of Lagos, everything changes. It goes to regular Africa. In a country of 2 trillion, the proper somebody say, in a country of 230 plus million, that is over 7.2 people age 65 and older. But how do you know that's the stat for them though? How do you know that? So how do you assume they have that many people at that age? How did you even come up with that number? You just said how many is over 65 if you got. That's not how you do it. Oh, gosh. Oh, that's made my head hurt. Wow. Africa's new source of income is old foreign women. Honey, that ain't no lie, JW. All the young men are on the beach. Honey, and guess what? Research proves it. The data proves it. That the come up now, the come up is the same come up as it has been. And I'm going to talk about that too, but not tonight, but it's coming. How this especially Ghana, especially them, this year of the return, y'all know what that was all about, making money off the backs of the people they sold into slavery. That's what it was all about, continuing to make money off the people they sold into slavery. And guess what? And I got the data to back it up. That money, most of that money they made came from the descendants of the slaves. They targeted the descendants of the slaves that they sold to America. Y'all get that? That's some diabolical, low down, stab a knife in your back thinking. I'm going to get you again. Not only I got you up out of here, but I'm going to use your grandkids and I'm going to have them bring every dime they got back here. And we're going to play them and we're going to take it. And then we're going to take y'all ladies, y'all elderly ladies who's supposed to be the stellar women in y'all community. And we're going to turn them into H.O. garden tools. We're going to turn them into old rusty garden tools. And we're going to take everything they got while they looking stupid, walking around talking to their vegetables. And we laughing. We marry young in the South unless we are Hebrew. I guess I gotta debunk this BS too on my channel tomorrow. Okay, good. Thank you. Seeing is believing. Okay. Why I'm saying, I told y'all it was a mistake. I told y'all it was a mistake. Y'all silly. That's why. It's YWCA. Hey, Mr. Dorcas. How you doing? Men who can neither discipline their son nor reprimand their daughter or dare even refrain their spouse in America are busy lecturing Africans about free. Can you believe that, Toby? Can you believe that? Is that Toby? Whatever your name is. That's true though. But not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. Yeah, Africanism, Daniel, is a pipe dream. I believe. I believe that. I believe that 100%. Just flat out. King says the Klansmen used to dog Africa out like this. I see you learn well from what? Dog Africa out. This is a very, you know what? You're about the most ignorant person I ever seen. Dog Africa out, but I go to Africa every year. I'm married to an African. I have not dated anything except exclusively Africans for I don't know how long. Ever since I can remember, pretty much. I go there all the time, write about it all the time, even devoted a whole YouTube channel to it. But what did you say I do? Dog Africa. No, baby. Africa dog herself. Her people dog her. And I just talk about how they try to dog my people. And I ain't going for it. It don't have nothing to do with the Klansmen. It don't have nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with Africa. Ain't no, like Tupac say, y'all always want to talk about it's the white man that we should fear. But it's my own kind doing all the killing here. We getting scammed by our own kind. Ain't nobody white on that. Ain't nobody white over there scamming us. Ain't nobody white over there unaliving us. So your statement just doesn't hold merit. It doesn't hold weight. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I see y'all learn well from Massa. Hi. You want to come say hi? Look, y'all, my little bitty grandbaby, he done made his way in here. The big ones ain't coming, but the little one, he said, shoot, what's she doing in there? Hi. Hi. So let me get back to this. I see y'all learn well. You want to see what I'm doing? You say, what KK doing? What her in there doing? Okay. I see y'all learn well from Massa. Wow, really? But what did Massa teach me? He taught me how to, look, let me tell y'all. When I was little, let me tell you what my grandma told me. She told me you go to school and you learn as much as you can from them schools. And she said, don't you go to no black school. You go to them white schools. You go to them white schools because you need to go find out what they're doing. Go find out what they're teaching each other, because what they're teaching each other is not what they're teaching us. So you go to them schools. You go to the white man's school and you go read the white man's books. Because when you read his books, you're going to find out what's going on. You're going to find out the truth. And once you read his books and you find out the truth, you come back and you tell the black people what's going on. You come back and you tell us what you read in them books. You come back and you share with us what you learned. Because all of us ain't going to get a chance to go to school. All of us not smart like you. Go to school, learn as much as you can, and come back and share it with your people. So that's what I learned. I learned everything I could from them. You absolutely right. I've been with them since elementary school, and I've been sucking up all their ideals. I've been sucking them up. And guess what I've been doing with them? Coming back telling my people. coming back, making it better for my people. And you know what? Somebody told me in a community meeting, I kid you not, because of my ability to connect with the average person and because I had such high levels of education, you know what this city commissioner said about me? He said my full legal name. And he said, she is a very dangerous person. And he said, you know what makes her dangerous? It's because she understands both worlds and she connects with both of them. And that makes her a very dangerous person. Yes. So that's what I did. I sure did. I was like the undercover brother. Y'all remember Sister Girl? I'm Sister Girl. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you get off of here, you go watch Undercover Brother. Because guess what? We need to all go sit and see what we can find out. We all need to do that. We all need to be Sister Girl and Undercover Brother. But you don't know what I'm talking about. Now they he in there yelling at the dog. Okay, brown skin, how y'all doing? All right, let me get this on, and then I'm going to get off of here because I got to come back tomorrow. Y'all know I'm finished talking about this Cebu village. These fools think because I'm talking about land scamming in Ghana that I can't stand Ghana. See how simple-minded people are? That's why I went to the mainstream schools, so I could learn to shoot down myths when I see them, so I could learn to shoot through lies when I see them, so I could learn to be an excellent critical thinker. And I'm not saying if you don't go to those other schools, you're not an excellent critical thinker, but I wanted to go where my people fought and died for me to go to. They fought and died for me to sit in those seats. So you better believe I sat in the seat and I sat in the front seat. And guess what? They gave me money to do it. They paid me to go to them white universities. Those black universities wasn't giving me nothing. But them white universities, man, bye. They was giving me so much money. By the end of each semester, they were giving me money back. Okay. All right, let me get this on here. And that's why I know people, because I went to school with all types of people. All types of people.
That kind of training, not very many. Okay? If at all. You see? At all.
You see what I'm saying? That's the reality. So these folks, they look at their homeland as a death sentence if they stay there. They ain't going back. They're not going back. And they know it. So the fact that we can go, we can go when we pick and choose. We go up there, have a good time, and come back. They can't do that. They cannot do that, and they won't do that. Let's be real. Let's talk real here. They can't really do that because you ain't really got nothing to go there to. Your parents are gone. Yeah. You ain't really got nothing to go to. Let's be real. So when they leave there, they feel like they're rescued from Africa.
Yeah.
You hit the lottery. That's why when you see them get threatened to be sent back to Nigeria, they start kicking and screaming. They act a fool. You notice that? Every time they say, hey, if you do not do that, you don't.
I'm sorry. He had to show that video. But he's right. Who gonna kick and scream and act a fool if you got to come back to America? We're gonna be like, thank God. I can get some hot water. I can get some hot water with some pressure. Thank God I can sleep in a nice cushy bed. Thank God. I can get some real pillows. Thank God. Thank God. And I ain't got to pay for it. You're going to send me straight back? Oh, thank you. But he's right. This man is telling no lies. And there has to be something wrong if all three of us are agreeing And we have different perspectives. Different perspectives. Different perspectives, but we all three of us are seeing the same thing in Africa.
You know what? We're going to send you back to Lagos. No, Mama, don't do that. Don't do it.
He said, Mama. Oh my God. Me and my editor's laughing.
Make it a habit, 7 minutes of Tai Chi every morning, all the way for 1 month. This Monday, we will start the advanced Tai.
Don't do it. Please, I'll be good. That's a death sentence to them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
He's right.
Let me just talk about this. This is largely true. Not a lot of opportunities. And then you have somebody from
So hold on, let me stop here and answer this question. This person said, so far you've repeated everything they said. I don't think I've repeated everything they said. I think I agreed with what they said. And I just made my point. I just said that the fact that all three of us come from three different perspectives and we all agree and we all are seeing the same thing says that there's a problem, that this is a systemic problem, okay? That this is what goes on in Africa. That's what that means. When you see three different people, that's called data, okay? Tariq Nasheed is a person. Kinganda is a person, a public figure. Kiki Loves Nigeria, they say, is a public figure. So that's three different sources. Tariq is in charge of what? FBA. Kinganda is a big YouTube influencer that lives in Uganda. Kiki Loves Nigeria is a lady who lives in the United States who just travels back and forth to Africa and just loves to talk about Africa. How can all three of them have the same experience unless it's a systemic issue and a systemic problem? And the fact that that's how you look, it's called a pattern. Historians, so you're clearly not a historian and you know nothing about historian, but historian would say that's data, sir. That means this is actually occurring. That means this is a problem that needs to be addressed. That's what that means.
So like FBA, somebody who's allegedly anti-African.
Thank you.
Talking about the problems of Africa. You can only know this information if you unless you care it's important to you.
Thank you.
So it shows me that. But it also shows me that many people in the Pan-African community don't care. Okay? They don't. Hard to raise money, hard to get people to trust Pan-Africans if they're from the West. It's not a lot of collaboration going on in this market that benefits other people. It's just not there.
And when we can travel back and forth and go over there, eat good and chill and have a good time, and then leave, they feel a certain way about that. They feel a certain way. That's where that vitriol comes from. Yeah, we can go over there and we can navigate Africa without surrendering our identity or our dignity. No?
Some of us can, honey.
We're rooted here. My roots are here. That's why I'm over there standing on FBA business, and that really makes them mad.
And see why this is important, Slim, whoever you are. I'm not an FBA. I told you I'm not FBA. I don't know. I don't really even know who Tariq Nasheed is. But for me to agree with him, Tariq Nasheed has not had the same experience I had in life. Y'all said this man doesn't want to be pimp. I grew up in upper middle class America. I'm going to say upper. I don't know. Back then it might have been. They were making pretty decent money. You know, I went to I told you I've been going to predominantly white schools in upper class neighborhoods since I was in second grade. I only went to the hood to go to high school because I wanted to be around my cousins. I wanted to go play with them in school. Then I went right back when I went to the university to the predominantly white institutions. So there's no way we should be agreeing about anything when it comes to Africa, but we are. And that is a phenomenon that needs to be talked about. That's called a pattern.
Well, that lets them know I'm not over there trying to find my identity. I'm over there having a good time on vacation.
When I went over there, it was about identity. It was about identity because I knew we came from Africa. And I wanted to know where my people came from. He went over there for a vacation. Because everybody act like it's the kicking it spot. It's where you're supposed to go for vacation. So he goes. We go for two different things and we find the same thing. That's called a pattern, sir. That's a big deal. That means Africa got a big problem. She got a big problem. And I love Africa. My name is Kiki Loves Nigeria. But I don't care. I call a spade, period. Period.
Here we go on to talk about the other people, the tethers and all that other stuff. But the main important thing was to talk about the real issues. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the pro-Black or the Pan-African community here, I see too many excuses of people blaming somebody else and not taking ownership of what you can do to help Africa or the continent in our present day. So what he's saying is absolutely correct, guys. Describe it to Bill.
And so, see, I don't believe that we should do anything other than Africa, then go visit. That's it. I don't think we should build houses unless you're married to one of them. You shouldn't be building no house over there. You shouldn't be doing none of that over there. You shouldn't be doing nothing. You shouldn't be buying no land, nothing. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get got. Because Africa is about family. So I don't believe in that. I don't believe in even that. I'm not going to build the house and build the land. He going to do that. That's your country. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving everything I got to some place where my kids won't even be on the property. And oh yeah, they'll make me think that. But in the end, nah. Once that land is gone when you're gone, period. Oh Lord, listen to this. I love seeing ICE round up foreigners. In my opinion, ICE needs to increase deportations. Daniel says, FBA is our lineage. Slam says, I actually don't think Africans have an issue with y'all having strong views about the continent. The issue is that y'all don't take it well when but our stuff is based on facts. What are they saying? What they say about us, we lazy. Where is that at? How is that factual and actual? How is that lazy? How are we lazy? When the Black women are the most educated group in America? Or what? I don't know if they said attended school or something. I don't know, but they got the most master degrees. So how is that lazy? How is that a group of people who are lazy when the women, the mothers, most of these people are single mothers. So how are they lazy? How are they dumb? What are the stereotypes they say about us? That's what I want to know. Because it's not based on anything but what? Jealousy? Hatred? It's not based truly on facts. They can't talk about our economic spending power because everybody trying to get that. So what are you I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. So tell me, Slim. Tell me. Well, when the shoe was on the other foot, I'm dropping facts for that. You know what? I'm dropping facts after facts after facts after facts. I speak nothing but facts. What are you speaking? What are they speaking to me? If you speak in your opinion, I don't care about that. Like I told you, like Kanye West said, we don't care what people say about us. We could care less. So say what you want. We don't care. Clayton. But wait a minute. Did you see the one when Clayton Bigsby found out his wife was white and he divorced her and called her an end lover? No. My name is Sister Girl. I'm Sister Girl from undercover brother. Although I find Clayton Bigsby hilarious. I find him hilarious. But no, I'm more like Sister Girl from Undercover Brother. Islam promotes child marriages, not yeah, they do. Okay. Tariq Nasheed is married to a white tether lady. Okay, I told you I don't know anything about Tariq Nasheed. He ain't my leader. He's not my father, my follower. I don't follow him. I don't know anything about this man. That's not true. African Americans don't even go to Africa like that. He's telling lies. What you mean? Have you seen the flight of people going? Yeah. I've been on a flight of people going to Africa. Oh, you right. It ain't that many black people. You right. It ain't. It'll be them. Yeah. But they don't, but they going, well, let's put it like this, Slim. They're going more now than they have before. Okay. And especially to Ghana. Not Nigeria. You're not going to see them like that in Nigeria. But as you get to like Gambia, the touristy countries, you're going to see them more. Nigeria is not a touristy country, so you don't see them. But you're right, on the Nigerian flight, you probably be 2 Americans on there. But them other flights, Gambia and Ghana, no, that's a whole different story, honey. Hey, Fiona, how you doing, sweetie? King says, meanwhile, Trump bans everything about black people. Well, this show is not about the president of the United States. It is not about him. Okay? We ain't talking about him. Green is even worse. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. You're just a real life Clayton. No, I'm just a real life sister girl. I'm sister girl. Okay? Look it up. Sister girl. But they used to call me Angela Davis. So you can either call me Sister Girl or Angela Davis, okay? Because that's what people know me by. Sister Girl or Angela Davis, okay? So, but nobody's ever called me Clayton because Clayton is hilarious. I'm not funny like that. And he was a little different. He didn't bring public awareness to our issues. You know what I mean? He was kind of on the other team, you know, the team that Marcus. Did y'all know Marcus Garvey went and had a meeting with the KKK? I got to do a video on that, and that's why A. Philip Randolph and them really couldn't stand him. Okay, so Slim says Nigerians in the UK are here, and here in the States go back home all the time. Not the Nigerians I know. The only ones that don't go back are the ones. No, not the ones I know. It's not sufficient. 3 evidence. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. That's all you need. You don't even need 3. It's not, honey. 1. See, you don't know what you're talking about. 1 is a fact. I need what? This isn't Islam. We're not trying. Hey, we're not trying something in Islam. All it takes is one thing to just one text or one image and then it becomes a fact. Please don't come on here and try to act like anecdotal. This is not anecdotal. This is not anecdotal. My responses are not anecdotal. My responses are my responses. Okay? It's not something, it's when you anecdote something, it's like you anecdote a primary text, okay? What you see out of that primary text. And how you're taking this as it's called a response. It's called a commentary, okay? It's my response. It's my commentary. It's how I feel, all right? From the facts that I've experienced. Some of it is actual factual because I told you the stuff that I actually went through. So I don't think you quite understand the difference between facts and opinions. I don't think you understand research. I think you do, but you really don't understand research because the fact that you say these are not facts, that's not true. I'm telling you factually what I experienced. Kinganda's telling you factually what he experienced. What's his name? Tariq Nasheed is telling you factually what they experienced. Just because you don't agree, they don't make it not a fact. The fact is, he's in Nigeria. This is live experience. This is the type of research that researchers love because it's happening in real time. This is real time experience. What their people are going through. This is the type of research we want. We don't want stuff written in books because that stuff will be lies. We don't want stuff that's been written down and cleaned up. No, we want this type of stuff so we can hear exactly what you think and exactly what you feel. And 3 people from 3 different backgrounds saying the same thing about Africa. And I've never even been to Senegal, and Senegal is surprisingly the same as those 3 countries that I've been to. Yeah. Now Africans feel in a certain way, Slim says, because FBAs are leaving. That's not true. This is why I'm saying he is the wrong man. Well, I think he's talking about they're feeling a certain way because we're taking our money with us, Slim. We brought a lot of money and we invested a lot of money into that country, only to find out that we've been played like a violin. Okay, so we're leaving because we're being played. The realist says Trump is not banning everything but Black people in America. Who said that? Girl, these people are crazy. Yes, that's why I took that back, Lamar. That's why I took it back, because I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Malcolm X he was doing some stuff too. So you can change your life. You can change. Yes, that's why I took that back. I go on vacation and visit my family at the same time. Sometimes they come to the UK to visit. London lady. Slim says, this is not how you establish a pattern. Oh, God. Queen African, what? Queen African is a whole continent. So what happened in Senegal is not. No, but see, this is why it's important, Slim, because Senegal is its own nation. Nigeria is its own nation. Cameroon is its own nation. What's the other place I've been to? Gambia is its own nation. Slim, think about it. Why would all 4 of them countries have the same experience? Unless that's systematic. Unless this is just the way Africa does business. That's how you establish a pattern. These countries should not be alike like this. You should not see the same stuff. And the fact that I am, it's a pattern. It is a pattern, and that means this is how you do business. Hi, how are you? Reinvents. Which options are you? Number 1, identity. 2, running. Inspired by influencers' money. 3, vacation. I ain't none of them options no more. I ain't going there looking for nothing. I'm just going to pay respects to my ancestors. That's how I look at it now. It's a place that I have a lot of respect for because my grandparents were brought from that country, some countries over there to here. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So I go back to Africa to pay respects to them because they love that country, that continent, wherever they were from. It's not necessary to buy land and house. My family already has property I can use. Yeah, when she goes to visit, I visit my, yeah. And that's why I'm telling you, I think that's better. FBA's built America because they're single mothers. FBA built America, the whole country. We don't need to own everything everywhere. We sure don't. We're luckily being able to hop on a plane and yes. You're not dropping facts. Oh, okay, Slim. Black women are not the most educated. Have you checked the most Latino? Spreading power, ask AI. What question did you ask? Because you say which is the most educated group in America? Did you know that? And when was that a new? Because the last time I checked, they were. Okay. But I'm not here talking about Black women and their educational status compared to Latinas. So this Latino is all of them. Okay. We're talking. So if it's not fair for you to compare Latinos, which is all of them, I think the Latinos is actually the boys and the Latina are the females. Okay. Latino is either all of them or the boys, and Latinas are the girls. Okay. So you got to compare the girls. And who's doing that? Do it and see. But you got to ask the right. That's what I'm saying. You think you know research, but you don't. I said group. Group. So a group means the same. That means they're all girls. And I said master's levels. Check that. You can't just research is not what you think. Y'all can't just do it like that. I'm glad I make it look easy, but it is not easy. You have to think a certain way. Your mind has to be trained with the researcher's mind. Tons of FBA are gone to Africa. Black Americans go to South Africa. Okay. Slim says, you are not dropping facts. LO. Black women are not. Okay. But we know that's true. Okay. And I think what it is, because I just heard somebody else say something about it. I think they said they were the most group in school or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how he put it. But yeah, that's true. So you need to ask the right questions. See, AI is just a tool. You got to ask AI the right questions. Yeah, he was a real bad agent. I couldn't stand. I don't like Marcus Garvey, y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all flat out. I do not like Marcus Garvey. I have never liked him. He grifted FBA and their money. No, they don't. Time for Garvey's descendants to make a refund to the FBA. It sure is. We want our money back for that Black Star liner. And what was you talking about in those meetings with the KKK about us? Those people are not America speaking to America or Americans. These people. Kiki loves Nigeria. I have a link for you to see, copy and paste. No, I don't do links. You got to tell me the name. I don't do links. I'm sorry. Tell me the name and I'll look it up. But I don't copy and paste no links. Africans, we have problems accepting the truth. Yeah, it's coming from a person who don't like. Oh, wait a minute. She says Africans have a problem accepting the truth if it's coming from a person we don't like. We need to change this type of behavior. Otherwise, we will never learn. Big up, sis. Thank you. Because I ain't got to lie. I don't have to lie. I don't. No, if Black women were not the most educated group, I would just tell you. I would say no, and I'd tell you what place they're in. And if they were at the bottom, I'd say, y'all, we got to work harder because we mothers. We got to be educated. But I know statistically it's true. And from my everyday life, I see it. But guess what? They're also the most unemployed now because you know what? What is it? Diversity and inclusion. Guess who it hit the hardest? Was them, was us. Because guess who they went to work for, which was a fool's move? The federal government. Because they pay well. Federal government make nice money with good benefits. But look how they lost their jobs because they were working for the feds. You gotta spread yourself around because they'll hire you though. It's hard to get a job when you're a Black educated woman, to tell the truth. It is difficult. It's this book called The Rage of a Privileged Class, and you need to read that book because it talks about how people think because you have education, you become a part of this privileged class. But really, you get discriminated against. It's hard for you to find a job. People don't want to hire you. And when they do hire you, they don't want to promote you. You know, they want you to be this step and fetch type of Negro. And I do mean Negro. back those years when they was calling us Negroes. They want you to be like that. And a lot of Black people just, feel like, no, I went to school for too long to be step and fetch. I'm not Nigerian. Somebody says, I'm not Nigerian or African, but give Nigeria a break. Nigeria has a large population. Nigeria need to get itself a break. Ain't nobody giving them a break. Come on. But I am going to give Nigeria a break. I take that back. She need a break because that election, they did not vote for that man. They voted for change and they lost. They cheated them out. I ain't going to talk about it. But yeah, Nigeria has some pretty messed up, corrupt governments, some pretty dog governments that took everything from that country. And it's just sad. Slim says, you're making the same mistakes that some Africans online make by making a broad statement based on, okay. So you're calling anecdotal evidence videos? A video is a primary source, sir. You don't know what sources are. So I can't teach you about history and how to do research, okay? But look up what a video is and ask your AI, is a video anecdotal evidence or is it a primary source? Okay. You're not investing in Nigeria or South Africa. Y'all are not investing in South Africa. Okay. Without the puppet politicians, I think Nigeria, yeah, it would have been first world. Nigerians are really intelligent. They are. Oh my God, Emma. If it wasn't for those politicians destroyed that country. Nigeria could have been great. They had the music scene. They had they destroyed that. Nollywood. Nollywood used to be so good. But they done messed that all up. It was just the corruption everywhere. It's just Nigeria is so sad what happened to Nigeria. Heavy paddle time. How you doing? He says, Kiki, Senegal snatched tourists away from the Gambia this season. It was depressing to see primarily empty Senegambia. Are you serious? But you know what? Heavy pedal time. It's so expensive now. Gambia, that last time I went, it was just, I couldn't believe the prices. And if you're going to pay those type of prices, then I can just go to Senegal. And guess what? We don't even need a visa to go to Senegal. So I'm really thinking about going to Senegal because, for one, I want to go to Senegal. I've never been there. So I want to go there. But if I'm going to pay all that money that I pay in Gambia, why not go to Senegal? But that hurts Gambia's economy because Gambia built their economy on tourism. And when their tourism gets depressed, guess what? The people are going to get depressed because it ain't no money to be made and prices are high. Wow, I hate to hear that. Black Americans aren't really. It's lots of us over there thriving, or it's a few of us, and you're counting that as a lot of us. So if it's 2 or 3, 5 or 6, 10 or 12, 100, what does that have to do with all the thousands that don't make it? Can't somebody tell their story? Can't somebody stand up for the thousands who don't make it? Good. I'm glad you're thriving. Guess what? When I go, I thrive. I thrive when I go. If I go over there right now, guess what? I'll be thriving. I'll be thriving. You think I'll be in these situations that people are in? No. No. But do I just talk about my life? No. Because my life obviously is not the average experience for people. Look, they built a high, and I bet it's expensive. It's all HE double hockey sticks to go to that hospital. And I bet they charge us an arm and a stinking leg to go there. So what? Build a hospital in the Delta. Impress me with that. Take care of your own. These kids can't read in our country. These are poor black kids, poor white kids, cannot read in this country. And you bragging about the black Americans built a high class hospital in Ghana. I don't care. They should be ashamed. Why the poor kids in this country can't read or write or do arithmetic. And you invest in everything you got in Africa. While the most vulnerable people in your population drown. They should be ashamed. None of the black Americans should ever go to that hospital. You think Louisiana got built back up? You think New Orleans got built back up? You think they built it back up like it was before the hurricane? You think that? You think the Mississippi Delta got cleaned back up after the hurricane? Y'all think that? It's sad what's going on in the South. It's sad what's going on in the South. And we're oblivious. Oblivious. And that's the land where our ancestors come from. So why we don't care about that land? You just pick which ancestors you care about, huh? There is a black American woman named Cherry Hill, and she built a community, and I don't care. Don't care. How much does she charge? Do people live there for free? How much do she charge us to live there? And what kind of community did she build? Tell me about give me the name so I can research the community, okay? Because I want to see. I want to see. And like I said, I don't care. Don't you talk about that. Let me talk about what I want to talk about. I dedicate my channel to the underdogs. I talk about the ones who didn't make it, because it's more of us who didn't make it who did than who did. And I'm not going to present this romanticized view that we over there kicking it and making it, because we ain't. Just because of a few of us has made it, that doesn't mean all of us have. Hey, Rosie. Sorry, her name is Cheryl Mills. Honey, I don't care what her name is. You know I don't care, because I can imagine. I've researched enough of these communities. Daniel King built a community over there too. Do you know about Daniel King and his community? Do you know about that? Yahuda Village and Ruby Village. He built community. T3 built communities. Mark meets Africa. Mark meets Africa. Mark meets Africa. What about his community? I ain't impressed by that. I know what that means. I done researched enough of these communities to know what they mean. I don't think you want to give me her name, and I don't think you want me to do that, but I'm not even going to, because she ain't my problem. She ain't my problem. Kiki, open the live panel. Oh, okay, you want to come up? No, I'm not going to drop a link. And wait a minute. So I can drop no to the back chat so I can show you proof. Black America. You know what? You don't have to show me proof. I know they are. I know. I've seen them. So it's not that I don't believe you. I believe you. But you have to believe me. There's more of us who are not making it than those who are making it. Somebody got to stand up for the people who are not making it and say, this is not fair, especially when it's more of us who are not making it. Just like never in any time in history were all the black people in America slaves. There were free blacks throughout history. And these blacks owned other slaves. So I could easily say slavery was okay. Black people owned slaves. It was fine. It was an economic system that worked in the South. So a few black people owned slaves. So slavery was okay. They were fine. They were middle class. They were rich. They were doing well. So slavery was okay. No, I can't take an experience of a few and act like that's the experience of the masses. I can't do that. Black women are educated, including Black immigrants, because our men are not carrying us. She right. Emma, whoever said that, you better get out and take care of yourself, girl. She is absolutely right about that, honey. I probably won't. I got other people to look up. I'm working on a Cebu village and how this place has been in a land dispute since I'll keep saying 1921. Since 2021. It is 2026. This land is still in dispute. People still can't live on this land, can't build on this land. And guess what? They are still selling land, and they know this village is in a land dispute. Honey, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about these people. I'm talking about real stuff. People losing their money and people losing their lives. We don't talk about fluff on this channel. This channel ain't for the fluffy. Yeah, we are. And they don't like that, honey. Yeah, they don't like we are the most educated group in America. They don't like that. Okay, well, Slim, it's probably the way you asking the question. Okay. It's probably the way you're asking the question. Because when I looked at Latino dropout rates, they was horrible. They were bad. But I'm not going to argue. I don't go back and forth about stuff like that. What they do is what they do. What we do is what we do. I talk about what we do. Joyce says, Africans do travel. Stop lying to yourselves. I see Africans going. They sure do. They just don't go to Africa, honey. This is 2026. I know African bloggers. Yep, they just don't go to Africa. And I asked them why they don't go to Africa. Guess what they said? Because if they go home, they're going to ask them for some money. So that's why they don't want to go home. Yeah, because they'll ask them for money. Hold on, y'all. I got to go get this charger. Let me go tell her to bring me the charger. Okay, y'all. Hold on. I got to plug this charger up. And it was in the other room. So, where's the rest of it? Right here. Just put this in there. What's the question I was working on? Yeah, they do. Oh, I was telling y'all what my friends told me. My Nigerian friends told me. They said they don't go home. And I said, why? And they said, because when they got home, they got to give people money. They're expected to do all this stuff. And they just don't be trying to do it. All right, y'all. I think I forgot. It was plugged up. It was muted. Okay, I had to fix the charger. But she's right. They do go home. But what they don't, I mean, they don't go home, but they do travel. They travel a lot of places that we would never even think about going to. What does it say? Slim. Kiki does her podcast to educate us on going to argue with us elsewhere, please. Yeah, we ain't trying to do that, dude. I mean, you just like, but it's like you're saying stuff that we know is not true because we're not people who just believe what we hear on this channel. Like we read and we research stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just come on here and tell us no lies and think we're going to be cool with that and just go for that because it just doesn't work like that over here. What Obey of Nigeria? That was crazy. There was a Nigerian article with the title, Obituary Democrats Loved. Really? Hey, y'all. Hey, chosen one. How you doing, sweetie? The realist says, look at the teacher. Oh, God. Do you know I want to talk about that, honey? Honey, we probably do that, a real snippet on that tomorrow before we move into the land thing. Because I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it. That's what I'm saying, because she wanted to go over there and look at the teacher in Uganda that has been banned because she was standing up for the locals. Thank you. Sent her right back to United States. Lee says the South is okay. The South is real okay. That's where our grandparents come from. That's where your grandparents come from. Why Nigerians abandon Africa and focus on Black cities like Mound Bayou, Pocahontas. Oh, these are some good ones. Mound Bayou. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read it right because these are some good ones. Multimillionaire Minds says, Multimillionaire Minds, and you need to come to our meeting next Saturday because this is what we're going to be talking about, forming an organization where we do just this, okay? Because y'all remember my background was economic development, right? I worked for cities, and what I did, I went in for those cities and what properties they wanted. And I ain't proud to say it, but I went in and I helped them take those properties from those people, okay? So I know how to do that. I know how to develop an area, all right? I have experience in developing areas. So we just need to go in, but again, we have to form ourselves as a body, as a group, not just a group of people on YouTube. So we have to become a formal group to do these things. And this person says, why Negroes abandon Africa and focus on cities like, we should abandon Africa, not abandon, but don't invest your money. Well, when you go, you're investing your money. Like when I go, I spend lots of money. You know, my husband don't like me doing that, but I do that. I don't mind. I don't mind going to that market, giving that lady, like buying a whole bunch of stuff. I don't mind doing that because I know I'm blessing her. So, and she didn't know I was coming there that day. She could have got up and said a prayer and said, God, please send me somebody. I don't have no food. And then I came in there and bought a whole bunch of stuff. You know, so it's not that I don't mind blessing them or giving to them. This is the thing I mind when they want us to invest everything we got and turn our backs on our own, to walk away from us, to walk away from the land our grandparents shed blood. What I tell y'all about the Tallahatchie River, look it up. Look it up. Look how many people passed away in the Tallahatchie River. How do you walk away from all of that? These people, and you look up these places, they need our help bad. Mound Bayou, Mound Bayou, I believe is that in Mississippi? That's in the Delta, because I seen that. Pocahontas Island, I seen that. That's another one. The only man who was working to try to help Pocahontas Island, he done passed away now. So ain't nobody trying to help. It's a young girl. I take that back. It is a young girl there who trying to get people to invest. And y'all, all they want us to do is just come in there and do something. Do something. Cities like this, they don't get money from the government. They get very little money from the government. Do y'all know, I think it was when the first Bush went in office, or it was either when, I think it was the first, but I don't think it was the Bush. I think it was a Democrat who cut funding to cities. But it was a Democrat. I'm pretty sure it was a Democrat. But they cut fundings. Cities used to get money from government. Oh, was it Ronald Reagan? I can't remember, but it might have been Reagan. They cut funding to cities drastically. And cities like those little cities in the South, they just dried up and died. Because the states get most of their money from the federal government. So when the federal government cuts off funding to your state, man, you in big trouble. And this is what's going on in these little areas. So my point is, if you want to invest everything you've got, invest it in you, invest it in yours, invest it in what your grandparents laid their lives down for, which are these little cities. Hobson City. It's a whole bunch of them. Okay, next Saturday, I'm going to have a list of them, all right? And then we'll, like when we have our little meetings, we'll look at each city, see which one, we'll take a vote on which one we want to focus on. And then we'll talk about how do we want to help? Because y'all know we've had no new Black organizations since I don't know how long. I'm not going to look her up. Okay, sweetie. Thank you. But I'm tell her I'm very proud of her. Tell her I love her. Tell her stand strong, but that just ain't my call. I'm not called to do that. And I'm not called to encourage other people to do that. Heavy pedal time says, no pain, no gain, Kiki. Exactly. Kiki, are you Caribbean or Black American? I'm detecting the Caribbean vibes from you. No, I'm Black, but you know what? I could have some Caribbean ancestors because I love Caribbean people and they love me, honey. So I probably do. No, I'm Black American. Black American all day, every day. I love being a Black American. I think that is the best thing to be. Oh, Lord. More on this Cheryl chick. Oh, Edra. Hi, Edra. Cheryl Mills' husband, washer the money, Bill Clinton, and Bush raised it for Haiti. The Haiti never received it. Are you serious? They did Haiti so dirty. We've been doing Haiti dirty forever. Oh, so they got the money from this lady got money from Bill Clinton. Please, see, that's what I mean. Don't tell me stuff like this. That's why I know this is not the average situation. So don't present it to us like it was. Heavy pedal time. The state of Florida banned advanced African studies in school. At the same time, they rebranded us as African Americans. The majority of us will never go back to Africa. Because they want you to know where you go. But no, they didn't come up with that name. I told y'all, it's probably some Black Americans down there that y'all don't know about that's in them meetings because them decisions are made at them tables, y'all. And guess what? If you don't have nobody on your team that's got a seat at that table, your voice will not be heard. So I guarantee you, because white people don't care what we call ourselves because they all mean the same thing. They all mean one who's descended from an African. So they don't care. They don't care what we can call ourselves tic-tac-toe. They don't care. They could care less. So they don't care. I guarantee it. There were some Black people in there saying we're African Americans, knowing daggone well everybody and their mama using that name now. After the earthquake. Thank you, Kiki, for saying the quiet part out loud. Hurt dogs holler. Keep it moving, honey. I like that. But it don't say honey. It say keep it moving. O'Shea did a video. I know. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to do that the first thing because I couldn't believe it. When you go in there with your ID. See, but that's what Veronica was doing. Veronica, the other lady who was unalived on my channel, well, allegedly, that's what we suspect. But we'll never know because she didn't have an autopsy. That's what she was doing, what this teacher was doing. But she was doing it worse. She was doing, and the teacher wrote it down that the man was worse messing with a 15-year-old. I believe the only reason they didn't give her the business like they wanted to was because she was a teacher, because she was from the U.S. The hospital that the Black Americans built in Ghana is called, okay, thank you. My father was from Nambia. The infrastructure is amazing. He hardly ever, why? I think you said that before. His people expected that poor and for him to pay for everything. Yep, I went last year. That was enough. See, for a long time. She said she ain't going back for a long time. And that's what a lot of people say why they don't go back. Guatemala did a blog. Okay. Yes, that's awful about the teacher. Okay, so tomorrow, Mount Banyu was founded by the Confederate President Jefferson Davis for former slaves. Wow, really? See, y'all, someplace like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's where you need to invest. That's where I can see I'm investing everything I got. I don't have no family. I don't have no kids. You know what I mean? I got this money. You can still have you a little boyfriend in Africa. You can still have you a little boyfriend over there. I ain't saying don't go over there and get your little boyfriends. But please don't get you no super shorties. Get you a real man. Because they over there. You know, get you a real man over there. You can go visit him. And he'll be so proud that you're rebuilding your own country. Donald Trump would even be proud of you. Kiki, I truly love you. I am here cracking up. No, thank you. I'm not going to watch your videos. Because I'm not. Because I knew it was something. Because you just don't be successful over there like that. It's just not in the plans. The plans is to take our money, not help us make money. When the shoe is on the other foot, what other foot? Explain that. Slim, you didn't explain it. All right, I gotta go, y'all. We gotta get back on here tomorrow. All right, but I have to go on here and talk about Tariq Nasheed and King Ganda and how we all have had the same experience in Africa. So we see things are done systematically. So wherever you go, you're going to experience the same stuff. So that means they need to fix Africa as a whole. It ain't just one country thing. No matter what country you run from, you can run to another African country, you're going to run to the same problem. All right, y'all. So that's all we got. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We're going to talk about the teacher. I'm going to throw her in there. And then we're going to do a historical point of view of the land scam. The land dispute in Asebu village. It was a scam. And, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow. I'm going to present y'all with the facts about the scam. All right. And how Black Americans were the targeted victims for this scam. All right. That's all I have. I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.